Is just a month now, would you believe that? Just a month now that we have to prepare for the Franklin Graham Festival, the Festival of Hope in Pittsburgh. And you know we've been talking about it, and this is a Sunday where we have an opportunity to give to the Lord and give to the Festival of Hope and some other events that are surrounding that work. And so I hope you're getting excited about it. I hope you're working on a list of people. There are people that would never darken the door of a church, but people that would come at your invitation to a great weekend with some great music. I was just talking to Sandy back there on the video screens, and she was looking over at some of the musical groups that are coming, and just really amazed at the groups that are going to be there. So it's a great weekend, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But I want to introduce to you Gary White. Gary is on the Festival of Hope Planning Commission, and he's been working very closely with the Franklin Graham Crusade team, and as well as being a local person. He is very involved in attending Peters Creek Baptist Church in Library, Pennsylvania, and so he's one of us. And he checked out our website before he came, and is very, very much akin to who we are as an Alliance Church. In fact, I think he said he was had worked with an Alliance Church in Sarasota, Florida, and then this one. So he's had some connections with Alliance people, and we're making a great impression on him, right, Gary? Anyways, so would you welcome Gary White, who comes and just hear what he has to say as we prepare for the Franklin Graham Crusade, which is called the Festival of Hope in Pittsburgh in August. So Gary, come. Would you give him a warm welcome?
Good morning. My name is Gary White, and if it looks like I'm nervous, that's because I am. I worked 34 years as a civilian with the Nuclear Navy, and I've sat in front of crowds at Washington, D.C., and Pittsburgh, and all along across the nation and made speeches. But talking about my faith is different. And so I wrote myself notes. I don't know that I'll need them, but when you're nervous, it's good to write. It's good to write notes. As Pastor Prescott said, when I was invited to come and speak with you, the first thing I did is what we do these days, right? I Googled Washington Alliance Church, and the very first thing I saw on your website was that right there, Matthew 28:18-20, and I says, okay, I'm going to the right place. Go therefore and teach, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. So I knew I was coming to the right place. And then getting here today, wasn't that neat? The stuff, the chalk on the walk, and all the excitement about the Festival of Hope. I even saw that you were having a bus at Peters Creek. We have 2 buses, and it's just exciting to see what is going on. But I grew up about 100 miles north of here, a little steel mill town called Farrell, Pennsylvania. And I really didn't know who Billy Graham was. I grew up, I'm Italian descent. My great-grandfather's name was actually Bianco. And grew up Catholic, as many of the steel mill towns are. And my earliest recollection of Billy Graham was every now and then on a Sunday, after 9 o'clock Mass when I came home, and turned on the TV, which only had 4 channels, and as I turned each channel to look for my cartoons, there was this man there who was talking in a loud voice, and it turns out that was Billy Graham. So that's my earliest recollection. I really didn't know who Billy Graham was. The So why am I here? I volunteered to do this. No one, I wasn't asked to do it. I volunteered, and that's because over the past 6 months, I have been involved with members of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. I've been listening to their classes. I've been listening to them talk. I don't work for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. I am on the finance team and the leadership team. But I wanted to share a little bit with you about what has God touched my heart as I listen to these folks. In my transition from going to a Catholic church to going to a Protestant church, one of the challenges I have is witnessing. I don't know about you, but sharing the gospel one-on-one and witnessing, I know what the Bible says, I know what Matthew 28 says, but it's still a challenge for me. And that's most what impressed me about this association, the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. Franklin Graham is going to get there, he's going to share the gospel. The Festival of Hope, make no mistake, there'll be a lot of praise and worship. As Pastor said, when you look at the music list, I know some of those people on the music list. Yes, Saturday night there's a lot of our young youth that really know those people on the music list. And there's going to be a lot of praise and worship. But make no mistake, the key mission of the festival is to share the gospel. These folks have a real heart. I pray that I would gain that heart for the lost, for those who have not heard the word. They really do believe the Bible when it says that God desires all to come to His saving grace. And so that was just very, it just touched my heart that their strong desire to reach the lost and the focus of the festival. Another thing is in coming to a Protestant church, when the folks come forward and accept, we're just all excited. Most of the time it's an emotional moment for new believers. But one of the things I've seen is that after they've come forward and it's over, we kind of give them, a lot of churches, I don't know what your church does, we kind of give them a list of Sunday school classes and say, here's some classes, here's some information. The Billy Graham Evangelistic Association has this amazing follow-up program. When a person comes forward, the first thing they do is they meet with a counselor. Whether it's 100 or 1,000, there'll be a one-on-one counselor that will meet with them at the front, that will pray with them, that will ask them questions, and they will fill out a card with their name and address and do they belong to a church? Did they come with a friend who has a church and will have their address there? Those cards, there are volunteers who are going to get to the festival at 9 o'clock at night, and they're going to be there till 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're going to take all of those cards from people that have come forward, and they're going to accumulate them and put them into a system. Within 48 hours, that one-on-one counselor is going to call the person who came forward, just to follow up and say hello, see how they're doing, see what how they're feeling after a couple of days. And they're also going to tell them that they're going to get a call from a local pastor. Because what those volunteers are doing is they're going to look at those cards, and for the new believer that has come forward, if they put a church down, they're going to send the contact information to that local pastor. If they put down that their friend brought them and their friend belongs to this church, they're going to send that. If they don't put any church affiliation, then they're going to look at their address and they're going to send their contact information to a church who's on the contributing list, of which Washington Alliance is on that list, and they're going to send that information to the local pastor that's near their home. And they're going to ask that pastor within 1 week to make a personal contact with that new believer. And then 2 weeks after the festival, the Billy Graham Association folks, they're going to keep their office in Pittsburgh for 1 year. They're going to call the local pastor, and they're going to ask him, how's it going? Did you contact so-and-so? And if anything falls through the cracks, they're going to find another local pastor. So the emphasis on follow-up is that they not only are reaching out through sharing the gospel through having this 3-day festival, but they are wanting to continue to minister to the new believers. They believe strongly in the follow-up. And I just think that is neat that they want to keep that. The other thing I want to talk about, all that Ruth Ann is doing. I got to meet Ruth Ann Jones, who's a neat lady, and her team that she's putting together, all of the material, and to bring the friend. I want to tell you, I don't know if it's been part of the material, but the association has done their analysis of the data, and 80% of the people that come forward during the festivals were brought by a friend. That's a pretty amazing statistic. And so that's the encouragement for us to bring a friend. Notice it doesn't say invite a friend, because it's always easy to invite a friend. The emphasis is on bring a friend. Bring a friend with you. That's an exciting thing, an exciting statistic. So I am on the finance team. I'm a CPA, and so I like numbers. So they asked me to be part of the finance team for the festival. And I wanted to share a little bit about the financial contributions. I am here to encourage you in your own heart and in your own how you're going to financially contribute. But I wanted to share a little bit of details with you. First of all the money that you give towards the Festival of Hope goes to the Pittsburgh Festival of Hope. None of it goes to Charlotte. The headquarters for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is in Charlotte, North Carolina. None of the money given to the Festival of Hope goes there. I don't know about you, but you've probably read about some charitable organizations, and you wonder, does my money go to the real program? Well, in this festival, your money goes to the Pittsburgh Festival. Also, it's a one-time gift. They're not asking you for a 1-year pledge or a 5-year pledge. This is a one-time opportunity to give. The last time the festival with Billy Graham was here in 1993, and they still talk about that Pittsburgh Festival. I don't know when they'll be back again, but this is a one-time opportunity to give, that the money will go directly to the festival. The other thing I like is that throughout the year, I don't know about you, but I get letters from charitable organizations in the mail. I'm sure very worthwhile organizations. And so in December, I sit down and other than through the year when I'm giving my tithe and the missions that I support, I usually send, $15, $20, $25 to about 10 or 12 of these organizations. And invariably, for the next 6 months, I'm inundated with lots more requests. And if you go on the internet, you find out that a number of these organizations sell their mailing lists.